Welcome to Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone. Once one concedes that a single world government is not necessary, then where does one logically stop at the permissibility of separate states? If Canada and the United States can be separate nations without being denounced as in a state of impermissible anarchy, why may not the South secede from the United States? New York State from the Union? New York City from the state? Why may not Manhattan secede? Each neighborhood, each block, each house, each person? If human beings are so careless, stupid, and malicious they cannot be trusted to do the right thing on their own, how would the situation be improved? By taking a subset of those very same careless, stupid, and malicious human beings and giving them societal permission to forcibly control all the others. Don Boudreaux mentions this point, saying, dumb individuals, brilliant voters. Basically, if people are dumb and they can't be trusted and we need a government, what species do you want voting for the government and running the government? The same criticism applies. Actually, it applies more so. So here is the initial reasoning behind this angels and men claim from James Madison from Federalist paper 51. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. In framing a government which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this. You must first enable the government to control the governed. And, in the next place, oblige it to control itself. Well, see, right then and there, it's what we must have no government, and society must control itself. The same logic applies, even though you see how ridiculous that can be. In other words, Madison's model is that if men are angels, then we can have a government, not have a government. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. Men are not angels. They are fallible. Some engage in immoral activity. So in other words, a society without a state is just inconceivable because bad people exist. So what we need is a state to stop those immoral men, those among us, from engaging in said immoral actions. However, he doesn't really grasp the fact that the most immoral people suck like a magnet to the state because that's where they can commit their atrocities without having to actually face any repercussion. Now that they have the erroneous halo of legitimacy the authoritarian state provides. So not only does the same criticism apply to the state, human beings occupy the state, the very same men who are not angels occupy the state and vote for state actors, it's worse because that's where all the bad people are attracted to. Like, what percentage of people would justify mass murder? Very few percentage. What percentage of dictators engage in mass murder? Like, all of them. More realistic model. That's the nature of being a dictator, I meant. More realistic model. Men are not angels. Well, that would be the bad situation because men are not angels. But a worse situation, compared to what, as the economists must say? Compared to what? Compared to a state which allows for those very same immoral people to occupy and initiate violence against peaceful people. In other words, as bad as it is that there are rapists and murderers and thieves and people who attempt to engage in gaslighting and mind control, the only thing worse is for us to have a society in which there's a group that if those very immoral people occupy, then we can't hold them to the same standards we would hold anyone else. Thank you for watching Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone.
Road. When we're truly free. It doesn't mean there won't be any evil in the world. In fact, a stateless society is a recognition of the fact that evil exists, and the first place that evildoers go is to the state, to gain control over the state, right? If human beings are all good, we don't need the state. If human beings are all evil, we can't afford the state. If human beings are mostly evil and only somewhat good, then the mostly evil people vote for democratic policies that overwhelm and subjugate the good people. If people are mostly good and only somewhat evil, which is my belief, then the good people become the tax livestock controlled by the evil people who swarm to the state to gain control over the good. There is no scenario of any admixture of good and evil which justifies the existence of the state. The state is a giant magnet for monsters in human form.